Well, this is Nitin Dahad from the show floor of the RISC-V Summit in Santa Clara in California, and I am talking to John Ronco, who is SVP for products for SiFive. Hello, John. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. Well, you've had a really busy time at this conference.
We have had a busy time, yes.
Tell us what's been the highlight for you.
So I think it's a really good conference. There's a lot of people here, a lot of things going on. And I think what's really interesting is how the conversation around RISC-V seems to have really moved on over the last few years. So previously, it might have been more about a why and an if from people in terms of whether to adopt RISC-V. And now it's much more about a when and a how.
Yeah.
So the conversations with customers are all about, okay, yeah, we get it, we understand the principle of an open standard instruction set, we believe in the future of RISC-V, and it's then about, okay, shall we use you for this specific project, shall we use you for this other thing, and it's much more about how do we solve specific customer problems, which is really exciting.
And I think, you've been showing the show here quite a sort of array of products with SiFive. Tell us a little bit about the company traction, because you've had some changes over the last couple of years.
So at the show, we're sponsoring the developer zone here at the RISC-V Summit, and we have just put on sale our latest developer board, which is the HiFive P550 Premier, which is the highest performance RISC-V developer board that's out there. So this is really exciting in terms of a step change in terms of what software developers can do with RISC-V. So we're looking to this to kind of just be further kickstart the ecosystem. But it's not just SiFive. There's lots of boards here in the developer zone, and it's a really exciting time in terms of people getting their hands on real RISC-V hardware.
And what's been any specific things where you really want to say that's a really cool project?
So, I mean, there's lots of things going on. I mean, it's beyond the hardware in terms of things that we're doing. There's lots of products that we've announced over the last couple of months. Okay. We announced a new high-performance core for infrastructure, which is our first CPU that's been really designed for that infrastructure market, which was the P870D. We also announced a processor for AI, the XM product. For many years, we've been delivering our vector cores to customers who have been using that as the foundation of their kind of AI compute solution. And that's great, and we're still doing that, but some customers asked us for a more complete solution where we're bundling together the vector cores and the matrix multiplication into one subsystem, and that's the XM product that we announced about a month ago, and that's getting a lot of good customer interest as well.
One of the things we were chatting about earlier is just, and I think you said it as well, is the difference in the level of confidence in the ecosystem.
Yes.
You come from a background where you work with other architectures. The thing is, what is it that you see that's changed over maybe the last year or two that has made this okay, well, if you've got a business case, well, it's worth looking at?
I think it's a combination of factors. I think it's partly the biggest part. I think is the maturity of RISC-V.
Yeah.
So in terms of the availability of boards, the maturity of the standards. I mean, this week we've just ratified RVA23, which is potentially more exciting than it sounds. So it's a really important baseline in terms of the instruction set, and it's including vectors are mandatory, hypervisors are mandatory. So that's setting a really important baseline for software developers to target. So it's the maturity of RISC-V, I think, is happening. And then I think just general dynamics in the market in terms of lots of people are needing to innovate in the silicon level, particularly to address AI, but also to address other challenges. And the freedoms that an open standard like RISC-V gives you is really enabling them to do that in a way that just isn't possible with other instruction sets. And I think that's what's really kind of driving the thing. There's a fundamental need for what RISC-V is offering, and there is the opportunity, and we're reaching the point of maturity. And for a company like SiFive, so SiFive's goal is to be the number one technology provider of RISC-V technology, and our goal is to fulfill those customer needs.
You talked about RVA23, and I think that's one of the things I've been hearing this week is the discipline of the ecosystem, because part of the argument against RISC-V was, well, yeah, if you can customize it, you won't have the support to go with it. But it's not about customizing the base foundation.
It's about, I mean, so one of the great strengths of RISC-V is that modularity and the fact that you can do different things. But for some cases, if you're building a server or a phone or kind of a sort of device that's targeting binary compatibility, you want to have real consistency between the hardware platforms. And this is where the profiles come in. So the profiles are giving that high quality baseline that everyone can use, and if you're a distribution, that you can rely on being present in all devices. And that's and RVA23 has now really set that baseline for several years in terms of what that profile will be.
Okay. And what's next for SiFive?
That's well. I mean, so we actually, the one of the cores we announced was the RVA23 core, the P870D. We have more of those coming, but really we're just innovating across the whole portfolio. So we're looking to service customer need, looking to have the widest portfolio of RISC-V technology, from low-end embedded through to high-performance CPUs and to AI, and we're really just looking to continue to innovate across all fronts on that.
Well, John, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nitin. It's great stuff.